This was not a good night for the president. Everything he touched was a loser. Trump hasn't been this embarrassed since he found out there was a Donald Trump Jr.
So, Donald Trump, since I know you're watching, I have 4 words for you. Turn the volume up.
We're seeing right now what the Trump agenda portends for New Yorkers. This is a man who ran a presidential campaign on the premise of cheaper groceries that is now trying to cut SNAP benefits to make it even harder to afford those same groceries. And we have to protect the New Yorkers with the least from the attacks from the man with the most power.
Jimmy Kimmel's razor-sharp humor meets Zohran Mamdani's calm precision. Trump doesn't just get roasted, he gets unraveled.
Posted this. He posted, "And so it begins," which was either a response to Mamdani winning the mayoral race or he just sat down on the toilet. I don't.
Zohran Mamdani doesn't go for laughs. He goes for the logic that hurts. While Kimmel handles the punchlines, Mamdani dismantles the fantasy brick by brick. He doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't need to. His power comes from clarity, from exposing the illusion Trump hides behind. Where Kimmel turns the spectacle into comedy, Mamdani turns it into evidence.
We will hold bad landlords to account because the Donald Trumps of our city have grown far too comfortable taking advantage of their tenants. We will put an end to the culture of corruption that has allowed billionaires like Trump to evade taxation and...
While Kimmel's talent isn't in the mockery, it's in the delivery. He dissects Trump with the precision of a surgeon who's been operating on the same inflated ego for years.
And more so because he wants to distract from what I fight for. I fight for working people. I fight for the very people that have been priced out of this city. And I fight for the same people that he said he was fighting for. And we know that in this moment, it is up to us in this city to show that we can not only fight back against authoritarianism, but we can also fight for work.
Kimmel knows the secret to Trump's magic trick. It only works if you keep clapping. So he stops clapping.
And then his press secretary had to go out there and walk that back because he legally can't do it. It really is amazing. The president says one thing, the White House says another entirely different. It's like the one hand doesn't know what the other tiny, bruised, makeup-covered, greasy, genitalia-grabbing, Sharpie-stained baby hand is doing. And also, hey, you just think about how cruel a person has to be to cut off food to 42 million people. It's the kind of thing that makes you go, oh, no wonder his...
Mamdani goes deeper, pulling the curtain back on what fuels the performance.
I'm looking forward to showing the power of an example here in New York City, an example of what it means to not just diagnose the despair in working people's lives as the cost of living crisis, but to deliver on it. And that's the contrast between myself and President Trump. He's someone who ran an entire presidential campaign on the promise of cheaper groceries and is now, as the president, making it harder for Americans to afford those groceries.
Kimmel thrives on the spectacle of Trump's contradictions. One moment, Trump's saving democracy. The next, he's threatening it. Kimmel doesn't need to invent punchlines. Trump supplies them wholesale. Kimmel just unwraps them for the audience, one ridiculous contradiction at a time.
Fair. It's not like Trump doesn't care about people. I mean, he has a lot of empathy. He's feeling especially bad right now for the family of the newly decrowned Jeffrey Epstein pal, the now former Prince Andrew.
Prince Andrew in the UK has had his royal titles stripped away because of the Epstein scandal. I know you're close to the royal family there. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I feel very badly. I mean, it's a terrible thing that's happened to the family. That's been a tragic situation. And it's too bad. I mean, I feel badly for them.
Mamdani provides the balance. Where Kimmel offers catharsis through laughter, Mamdani offers closure through reason. He takes the noise and filters it into coherence. Trump's contradictions become cautionary tales. His deflections become lessons in political theater. Mamdani doesn't just call out the performance, he decodes it. He explains how the illusion works, how the chaos sustains itself, and why it's so effective on an audience trained to mistake volume for vision.
I think that his threats are inevitable. I also know that it's time we actually call this for what it is. This has nothing to do with safety. It has to do with intimidation. If it was safety, President Trump would be threatening to deploy the National Guard to the top 10 states of crime, 8 out of which are all Republican-led, but because of that party, he won't actually be doing so.
So you say you won't be intimidated. How do you stand up to it?
I think there's a number of ways. The first thing is you actually utilize the courts. You stop treating things as being law just by virtue of the fact that President Trump is saying them. You can look at the example of California, where you find the Attorney General, the governor, and the mayor of LA coming together, filing a lawsuit in opposition to the...
Kimmel loves to point out the absurd symmetry of Trump's universe. Every time he claims victory, there's a headline that says otherwise. Every boast comes with a built-in contradiction.
That family he feels bad for. The ones losing their food stamps, they're going to be fine. Don't worry about it. This is like Bill Cosby feeling bad for R. Kelly, okay? Prince Andrew lost his royal status. He's been demoted to, I think he's the Archduke of Frimplepants now or something. Trump's claimed that he doesn't know Prince Andrew, and yet there are dozens of photos of them together. Here's just one of the many. I don't know if, what happened to Andrew in that photograph, but here's one of then Prince Andrew walking away from Trump. And look who else is in the picture, peeking in from the corner. You got convicted sex trafficker Ghislaine.
Mamdani's destruction is quieter, but more permanent. He dismantles Trumpism not with fire, but with light. He exposes the scaffolding, the fear, the manipulation, the empty promises, and leaves it standing in plain sight. By the time he's done, there's nothing left to mock, because the spectacle has already deflated itself. Kimmel's laughter cuts deep because it's honest. He laughs like someone who's seen too much, who's both amused and exhausted by the endless performance. It's not anger, it's clarity wrapped in comedy. When Trump insists everything's perfect, Kimmel just shakes his head like a man watching someone confidently walk into a glass door for the 100th time. Mamdani doesn't even shake his head. He lets silence speak. His calm dismantling leaves no room for spin, no refuge in rhetoric. Kimmel and Mamdani couldn't be more different, but together, they're devastating.
Donald Trump said that I should be arrested. He said that I should be deported. He said that I should be denaturalized. And he said those things about me, someone who stands to be the first immigrant mayor of this city in generations, someone who would also be the first Muslim and the first South Asian mayor in this city's history. Less so because of who I am, because of where I come from, because of how I live.
By the time they're both done, Trump's still out there somewhere, insisting he's undefeated, claiming the spotlight still belongs to him. But the room feels different now. The laughter has shifted. The applause has turned into silence, the kind that follows realization. Kimmel doesn't chase the noise. He lets it fade into the background like a bad encore that finally wears itself out. He knows that silence can be louder than outrage, that mockery hits harder when you don't have to yell. Mamdani, meanwhile, doesn't aim for humiliation. He dismantles the illusion piece by piece, calmly exposing the machinery behind the spectacle. Not with chaos or spectacle, but with a precision that leaves no room for denial. Because when the laughter finally fades and the truth settles in, what's left behind isn't the image of strength or leadership. It's theater struggling to justify its own relevance. The applause dies down, the lights flicker, and that once grand stage starts to look smaller, emptier, cheaper. The script that once drew crowds now feels tired, every line recycled, every promise sounding like a remix of yesterday's noise. Kimmel and Mamdani didn't have to swing wildly to destroy it. They just let the truth breathe. And when it did, it exposed everything the spectacle tried to hide. Beneath the slogans and the swagger, there was no movement, no master plan, just a performance that had overstayed its welcome. What once looked like dominance now reads like desperation, and the crowd isn't cheering anymore. They're just watching, realizing that the show they bought tickets for ended long ago.